there, my name is Chrissy Hodges, and I am an OCD advocate, peer support specialist, and referral and resource consultant, and the author of Pure OCD, The Invisible Side of Obsessive Compulsive Disorder. I just wanted to do a real quick video today. Any of you that watch me are probably like, yeah, right, you quick video? But I have to, 10 minutes, I swear. I've got it on timer down here. I wanted to do a quick video because something has come to my attention, not only in my own life with OCD, but also with people that I'm working with. It is, why do I see the object of my obsession everywhere? So for an example, if somebody has sexual intrusive thoughts, let's say all of a sudden they have HOCD, which is homosexual themed OCD. It's the fear of turning gay. Now remember, this is not homophobia. It is just an intrusive thought. And then if this fear just out of the blue strikes them and hijacks and takes over their life, they will go, before this fear was here, I never even, if you're a woman, I never even realized there were women everywhere. And now everywhere I go, I see boobs all over the place. And men would probably, if they have HOCD, they would be like, oh my gosh, I know where every penis is in the room. So I know that it sounds silly, but it is true for people who live with sexual intrusive thoughts. Also violent intrusive thoughts. When people are experiencing violent intrusive thoughts where they're worried that they're going to snap and turn into a murderer, or what if they hurt somebody, all of a sudden, every time they turn on the TV, there's a violent scene where before they may not have even noticed it. Or every time they turn on the news, there's violence and there's reporting of this. They see knives everywhere. They see the color red everywhere where they never noticed it before. And so what happens is, because OCD is the doubting disease and we're always looking for proof or disproof about why we're having intrusive thoughts, which by the way is a compulsion, while we're doing that, all of these things are bombarding us and we think, oh my gosh, if I'm noticing these things everywhere, that must mean there's some truth to it. You know, OCD is pretty smart. I mean, it is our brains and we're pretty smart. And so what happens is we all of a sudden, whatever the object of our obsession is, it becomes part of our radar. And oftentimes, I do this myself. I'm going to tell you an example of this and another reason why I'm doing this video. But what I tell people is, before you got the obsession that you did you ever notice anything remotely that was near this in an alarming manner? So a good example of this would be the pedophilia-themed OCD. This is where somebody has an intrusive thought of, what if I turn into a pedophile and I hurt kids? Well, all of a sudden, if this fear appears, then they are going, oh my gosh, I see kids everywhere. Everywhere I go, they're everywhere. I never noticed them before. So that must mean something changed, and that must mean I really am a pedophile now. I have somebody was telling me a story about who has a fear, an intrusive thought of hurting children, and it tortures this person. But clearly they can remember before the fear that there was really nothing ever, see kids, no big deal. But now that the fear is present, this person told me, they said, somebody should hire me, for kidnapped children, but to find them, because wherever I go, I can spot children anywhere within a mile vicinity. Why? Because it's on our radar. We look at it as some kind of proof. Oh my gosh, I have HOCD, and now all of a sudden I see every woman in the planet. I'm spotting somebody over here that has a short skirt on. Oh my God, there's cleavage over there. What does this mean? You know what it means? It means that you have an obsession and your brain is thinking about this all of the time. So of course you're going to be on alert. I always use the example of the Honda Civic. If you went out and bought a Honda Civic, and I use that example because that's going to be my next car and I'm very excited about it. Hopefully a stick shift, but they don't really sell those anymore. But I'm going to find one. Anyway, if you buy a Honda Civic, all of a sudden Honda Civics are everywhere, where before that you never even noticed them. Why? Because it wasn't on your radar. Now the Honda Civic is yours and you're driving down the road, you're like, oh, I'm spotting them everywhere. There's Honda Civics all over the place. Then maybe you think, I should have gotten another car so I would be different, or whatever. So that's what it's about. So I'm going to tell you my example of why I'm doing this video. 7 minutes to go. I'm telling you, this one's going to be short. Okay, so the other day, and definitely don't harass me about this. You can if you want. I have never gotten therapy for the fear of vomiting, which was my first fear when I was 8. Okay, so when you think about the fear of vomiting, you're probably going, that sounds so easy compared to sexual and violent intrusive thoughts. Well, you'd be wrong. I have had both, and when I'm triggered by either one of them, they both suck. And I wish that I have the other one when I'm triggered by one of them. So the fear of vomiting, some of the things that are going to be on your radar are going to be splats on the ground, stains on carpet, when a car is pulled over and you're like, oh my God, somebody's getting out of the car to vomit. And then the other day we were actually driving home from Steamboat, and I was like looking at that car and I went, I think somebody might be vomiting. And Sean was like, no. Out comes the guy and he barfs. Anyway, I was right. But who would even recognize this, right? So what happened the other day, this is so embarrassing. We're driving down the road, and I'm looking at the scenery, and it was a golf course. And so I'm looking around, and all of a sudden I'm fixated on something. I don't even know I'm doing this, by the way. I'm fixated, and I'm turning my head all the way around as we're driving, and Sean goes, what are you looking at? The lakes? Because there's lakes on all the golf courses. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I realized what I was doing. Just as we passed, I was staring at this woman who was bending over like she had her hands on her knees. And I was like, oh my gosh, she's barfing. Like it matters. She's like a mile away, by the way. I'm still like, there might be barf in the vicinity. Only to find out when we pulled faster, it's a golf course. So she's leaning down to hit the golf ball. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to tell Sean, because he's like, what are you looking? You're looking at the lakes? And I'm like, no. I was looking at a woman because she was bending over and I thought she was barfing, and then I realized it was a golf course and she was really only hitting the ball. And he was like, OMG. Because it's on my radar. I'm always looking for things like that. Why? Because it's an obsession. And it's not like I'm looking for it, like I'm going out and I'm going to be like, I'm going to find somebody barfing today. It's just, I'm looking right now outside, and there was a splatter. Oh, somebody dumped a bunch of pretzels out here the other day, and then it rained on them. What did crushed pretzels with rain on it look like? Barf. So, of course, I even knew they were pretzels. And then when I was going out to my car the other day, I was like, oh my God, somebody barfed. No, Chrissy, they're pretzels, but what if they really did barf? This is what I'm talking about. It's just, and hi, Rudy. Thank you for being here. It is just on my radar. And this is what it's like when you're living with an obsession. It's not like you want to go out and look for it, but that is the key, because you don't want to see it. So let's say, you have a violent intrusive or an intrusive thought about what if I develop schizophrenia tomorrow? Again, nothing against individuals who live with schizophrenia. Please understand that it's just an intrusive thought, and it's a common one. If somebody is having this fear, what happens is they may go outside and they may hear something and go, oh my gosh, was that really something? Or they may see a shadow, or they may see the word, paranoid or delusion, and they think, oh my gosh, that's a sign. Well, whereas I do not have this intrusive thought. So I can see all these things and it's not that big of a deal. But when I was living with HOCD, you better believe I was spotting rainbows everywhere. I mean, the Indigo Girls were on the radio all the damn time, because I'm like, oh my God, if I like this, does that mean I'm gay? Not that there's anything wrong with that. Understand that again. But that is what it's like for us. And that is why you're seeing them everywhere. Now, when you get therapy with a trained therapist that does evidence-based therapy with exposure response prevention, acceptance commitment therapy, what they teach you is to flip that radar on its head. Radar, not radar. It's radar on its head. So going out and actually wanting to see it, looking for it, versus I hope I don't see, a bunch of kids because that might prove that I'm violent or I'm a pedophile. Instead of going out and being like, you know what? I'm going to try to find 20 kids while I'm out doing my errands today. And that way you're telling your brain, it's okay to see this. There is no danger. There are no, you're telling it that. You don't want to tell your brain that, because that would be a compulsion. But by doing that, and by teaching and showing your brain, see, I can do this and I don't care. Send me the thoughts. It's not that big of a deal. Of course, you want to do this under the instruction of a OCD therapist, someone that does exposure response prevention and cognitive behavioral therapy. If you need help finding someone, please feel free to contact me. I do consultations for referrals worldwide and also for resources, and I do peer support. I'm a certified peer support specialist here in Colorado. So I am just under 10 minutes, and I just wanted to send you that quick message today, mainly just because I couldn't believe the golf course. And I felt like the biggest idiot, and I'm lucky to have Sean because he just laughed and he was like, wow. Anyway, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend and happy June. If you are in need of peer support or referrals for consultation for referrals and resources, go to my website at chrissyhodges.com, or you can email me at ocd.chrissy@gmail.com. Thank you very much, and I will see you next time.